Just as FYI, we will be recording this session, and this information will be forwarded to you by Brother Michael Wilson via email after the session. My name is Barry Devone, and I am the boss list of AGPCNP chapter or president. And AGPCNP chapter of Mega Sapphire Fraternity, in collaboration with the Chi Eta Phi Sorority Tau Chi chapter, East Orange Family Success Center, and the Integrated Black Nurses Association of New Jersey are collaborating to bring to you this the third session of the Well Prepared program. So thank you to all of you who have joined us for the previous sessions. This is a community-oriented program that targets children and families in grades 3 to 6. It's designed to teach children and families about healthy eating and a healthy lifestyle. In addition to discussing healthy eating habits, the program will feature free exercise classes led by a professional trainer, as well as various other incentives. And we're looking to bring that professional training to you guys in one of the future sessions. So it's coming. We've been talking about it, but we'll bring it to you. These training sessions are really designed to provide diverse are presented to you by a diverse group of healthcare professionals. We have nurses, doctors, people associated with the healthcare field, which will provide information on why it's important for parents and their children to eat healthy and maintain a healthy lifestyle. And today's session is really going to revolve around healthy fruits and vegetables. So hopefully you'll get some key pearls that you could take from you and utilize over the next couple of weeks. So we really appreciate you joining us on this Saturday morning, and we encourage you to invite other people to join us. This session is open to anyone who has family students in grades 3 to 6, and we're not just bound to New Jersey. We are open to anywhere in the tri-state area who has an interest in a healthy lifestyle and healthy eating habits. All right. Our future sessions will be April 24th, May 15th, and June 26th, and our information will be put in the chat for you. Okay. Those dates are subject to change, but we'll be pretty much sticking to our schedule so far. So we encourage you to check your email for updates regarding the program. And those, as I stated earlier, those emails will be coming from Michael Wilson. So without any further ado, I'm going to turn the program over to Yolanda Jackson, representing the Chi Eta Phi Chi sorority, and who will be facilitating this program.
Hello, everyone. We are at the halfway mark. How's everyone doing? Unmute for a moment. I'd like some feedback.
Oh, doing well. How you doing, Yolanda?
I'm doing great.
Good. Good seeing you.
For our participants, though, how you feeling about the program so far?
Great. It's wonderful.
Excellent. Are you utilizing some of the skills and some of the information that's been provided so far?
Yes, we are. We've been exercising, shopping together. When we actually go to the supermarket, he reads labels. We look at to see how much sugar is in it, and he'll go, "Oh no, this has 17." So we have to buy something else. So we're actually using the tools. Thank you.
Excellent. Anyone else? Okay, I'm learning so much at these sessions. I look forward to these sessions. We have been drinking. Hold on.
It's a chat.
Yes. Can someone grab the chat for me and read those?
I'll jump in right now. This one is from Miss Naomi Dunnell. I'm learning so much at these sessions. I look forward to these sessions. We have been drinking more water and not buying juice.
Excellent.
Samantha Johnson says, just making healthy food choices.
Excellent. Oh,
she walks every morning too. She wanted to get that in and getting more sleep.
Yes, sleep is important, very important. Okay, so without any further ado, we have a phenomenal speaker coming. She's going to give us some more nuggets this morning to use. and hopefully pass on to other family members. She is the president of the chapter Tall Chi, Phi Eta Phi Sorority Incorporated. Her name is Akia Blandon, and actually Dr. Akia Blandon, but I'll let you, she hates for us to do that, but I had to put it out there. She has a journey and a story to tell. So with no further ado and sticking to our timelines, Ms. Akia Blandon.
Good morning, all. Good morning, and no pressure. Sorry, Yolanda. Phenomenal speaker. I hope I don't disappoint today. Good morning, everybody. As Sorry Yolanda said, I am Dr. Akia Blandon. I'm a doctor of nursing practice, which means I'm a nurse practitioner, essentially. And I work providing care to people ages 12 until they go on home. And this morning, this subject is very near and dear to my heart, fruits and vegetables. And the reason why it's so near and dear to my heart is because 3 years ago, this May 1st, I made the decision to become a vegan. I made the decision to be a plant-based eater. And I made that decision for various reasons, some of which included health and wellness. And is vegan the only way to healthy? Absolutely not. I would not tell you that story. That was a choice that I made. So when I got the opportunity to speak about fruits and vegetables and their benefits, of course, I jumped on it. And so that's what we're going to talk about for the next 20 or so minutes. And I hope that if you have questions, that you understand that this is very informal and you can jump in, ask a question, please respond. I am going to ask you a couple questions, and let's hope that we learn together this morning, okay? All right, so I'll take that silence for okay. So I'm going to go on ahead. The Well Prepared program, Parent Module 2 is talking about fruits and vegetables. Next slide. So Well Prepared is an initiative, an obesity initiative that was first conceived as an intervention program for uniformed services. They looked out and they recognized that there was so many different challenges that we faced in the area and in the realm of obesity, that something needed to be done. Next slide. So, when you're looking at Well Prepared, childhood obesity, at least in America, is a serious problem in the United States. And there are so many as compared to times before. Obesity, previous slide, I'm sorry. Obesity places people in our adolescents and children at risk for poor health. We are seeing more and more children diagnosed with chronic illness and chronic conditions that they weren't previously diagnosed with, and it's really high. So some facts around this is that for adolescents between the ages of 2 to 19, there was a prevalence of obesity at about 19%. So what does that mean? That means that about 14 million children and adolescents in that area were obese. That number is huge. But the beautiful thing about it is there is something that we can do about it. Obesity is a change that we can make. We can change the trajectory of obesity. We can change the trajectory of health. We can change that. So how do we change that? We change that through education. We change that with equipping ourselves and empowering ourselves with knowledge so that we can make right choices. And it's never too late to start over. As long as there's breath in your body, you have the option and the ability to start over. And we as parents shape the way our children perceive and are educated and how they adopt and adapt to healthy living. Next slide. So how do we do this? We lead by example. Leading by example means that we don't tell them one thing and do another. Leading by example says that we pick up that piece of fruit in place of that red velvet cupcake so that they learn to do that. Now, I'm not going to tell you that you can't have some cake and some crackers and cookies and whatever for me, it's peach cobbler. I don't know if anybody else loves peach cobbler, but for me, it's peach cobbler. When I wasn't a vegan in the past, it was Krispy Kreme. That hot sign couldn't be on and I not drive to the Krispy Kreme. So it depends on who you are and what your choice is. But with that being said, make healthy choices, lead by example. It is absolutely imperative. And just a little bit about my story. I used to be over 300 pounds. And that was part of the reason that I elected to become a vegan or to change the manner in which I ate. So I was 300 and I want to say 8 pounds at my highest the last time I got on the scale. At that point, I wore a size 26 and I was winded and out of breath. And so when I made the choice to become a plant-based eater, it was for health, it was for life, it was for that diagnosis of hypertension that I didn't want, high blood pressure, that diagnosis of diabetes that the doctor told me that I had that I didn't want. It was for that choice. And so leading by example meant that I had to teach my 5 children by example how to live. Now, are they plant-based eaters today? Absolutely not. They eat meat, they love meat. I still cook meat, I just don't choose to eat meat. But what it did is it allowed me to introduce additional vegetables and fruits to them that they love. So nowadays, and my children are adults, you can't go into my house and put mangoes in my house or put pineapples in my house or put strawberries in the fridge or blueberries and it not go away. You know, you'll come back and won't find any food. So that's what I mean by leading by example. Next slide. So when we think about how to eat and what to eat with regard to fruits and vegetables, it sometimes can be difficult to know how much of something to eat, right? And so a fruit or vegetable serving is what you see on your screen. A medium fruit, it's 1 medium fruit. If you think of your fist size, like for an apple, a half a cup of a cooked or chopped or canned fruit or vegetable. It's important though, when you think of canned fruit, that you make sure that it's in 100% juice. So for my friend who just said that they're looking at labels now, you wanna make sure that you look that the fruit is contained in 100% fruit juice, not in heavy syrup or not in other sort of preservative liquids. So that's something that you want to look at. You want to look at maybe a 1/4 cup of dried fruit. Now, why is the dried fruit less than the cooked or canned or fresh fruit? Well, it's because of the concentration of sugar. When you dry a fruit like raisins or prunes or banana chips or whatever it is, when you dry it, the concentration of sugar that's in it, you need less of it in order to achieve the same amount of nutritional value for your body. A cup of raw leafy greens, and what's meant by that? Like romaine lettuce, red leaf lettuce, spinach, Swiss chard. I want you to start opening your mind to ways of eating fruits and vegetables specifically that you may not have grown up on. One of the things that I do personally is every week I endeavor to try something new. So what does that mean? I go into Whole Foods, I'll look at the list of, I'll look at the array of green leafy vegetables, and I'll say something like, well, how do you cook dandelion leaves? What's Tuscan kale? I know kale, but it goes in my greens. So what is this? And then I'll Google it and I'll add that to my repertoire. Sometimes it's been a great success and I love it. And other times, not so much, but at least I've tried it, right? So I want you to open up your ideas and your thoughts about the foods, the fruits and vegetables that you've known, and try some things that you didn't know. Next slide. So on my next slide, I have a few visuals, right? If you see a medium fruit is about the size of a baseball. And so if we have young male children, right, your child can understand what a medium-sized fruit is because they know what the size of a baseball is. I'll use markings on cups to represent a half or a quarter. And the same would be for vegetables. And if you notice, you only need a half a cup of a vegetable juice, whereas you could have a cup of whole leaf vegetables. So one of the things that challenged me when I became a plant-based eater was volume. I like food. I'm a foodie. I enjoy eating food and I enjoy feeling satisfied, not necessarily stuffed where I'm taking naps afterwards. wink, wink, but certainly filled, right? And so for me, I started to get away from the juices of it all because I could have more of the vegetable or the fruit, if that makes sense to somebody on the Zoom. And so I just wanted to provide you a visual of what it looks like, comparing it to everyday items that you're aware of. Next slide. So we want to eat 5 or more fruits and vegetables, servings of fruits and vegetables per day. And as Americans, we genuinely don't get enough fruits and vegetables. And sometimes that's because we don't know what those fruits and vegetables are that we're looking at in the grocery store. And others, it becomes inconvenient. Others require prep. Others require, cooking time. Some, it's not as accessible or readily available. It's not as easy. So I want you to consciously try to begin to incorporate it. So if you eat 0 fruits and vegetables today, I want you to make a goal for yourself to eat 2 for the next week, and then add 1 more on thereafter, to where you get to 5 or more fruits and vegetables per day. Very few Americans consume the amounts of fruits and vegetables that are recommended, as I've said. And many Americans over 3 years of age don't consume it on a daily basis. And one of the things that I find that it's important for us as parents to do is introduce fruits and vegetables early and often. What do I mean by that? We often give our child, if we see that our child goes to a particular mac and cheese, right? I have a son who loves mac and cheese. You can give him mac and cheese morning, noon, and night. You can give him mac and cheese every second, every minute, every hour. You can give mac and cheese anytime that you want, and he will eat the mac and cheese, right? So for that son, he would tell me, if I told him to put some lettuce and tomatoes on his sandwich, he'll tell me, well, Mom, it has ketchup. So that's my fruit and vegetables. That's the kind of kid I'm talking about. And now that he's an adult, because I kept introducing fruits and vegetables, I kept adding things, I kept making something and not giving him the necessary option to revert back to that which he was most comfortable with, he now appreciates it. And so when he gives me his Thanksgiving request, it absolutely includes vegetables. Now, don't get it twisted. It has to have mac and cheese too, but he will ask me to make him greens and make sure I put some kale in it. He'll ask me to make sure, Ma, can you saute me some spinach? Ma, he'll make sure that he asks those things. So introduction of these items early and often is important for us to remember as parents. And so your goal as you go through the next few weeks is to increase. So if you're at 0 today, you want to go to 2 next week. If you're at 2 today, you want to go to 3 or 4, ultimately until we get to 5, and make it fun, make it a game, make it interactive. Like our lady who just said that her and her child goes to the store, you want to make them choose. Well, let's try this, or let's read up on this fruit or vegetable, or where is this from? Make it an all-around learning experience. Next slide. So did you do your homework? I have a question, so you're going to have to unmute. Tell me what your plate looks like, or what your ideal plate looks like today.
Salmon, broccoli, and rice.
Okay, good stuff. So how much salmon, how much broccoli, and how much rice?
Right now I'm using a portion plate for me, but for the kids, I really can't, I don't know how to say the portion. I've been using the portion plate for myself, but for the kids, I just wing it. Like I just put whatever on the plate.
Okay, that's fair. So you eyeball it, right? You kind of look and see.
Yeah.
Right, okay, I like that. Thank you, I hope I'm saying your name right, Naomi?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
All right, thank you, Naomi. Anybody else? So there's no other parent that can tell me about their plate, what your plate looks like today? And it's okay for it to be the mac and cheese like my son. I mean, if I gave him mac and cheese only, the whole plate would be mac and cheese.
Chicken, brown rice and bok choy.
Ah,
choy.
okay. I love it. I love it, Samantha. Thank you so much. So chicken, brown rice, and bok choy. Funny fact, in Jamaica, we call bok choy pop chow. I don't know why we do that, but that is what we call bok choy. But bok choy, for those of you who don't know, is a green leafy vegetable. It's very mild tasting, and it literally absorbs whatever flavor. You could saute it, you can toss it, you can put it in a wok, you can make it oriental, you can make it kind of like we season up spinach. You can make it just like that. It's actually a really, really good vegetable. So thank you for introducing that. So you can switch to the next slide. So you've shared your plates, right, with me. And those plates are really, really, really important. I want you to walk away at the end of this talk with a different understanding of what your plates look like, right? And so in the upcoming slides, we'll talk a little bit more about that plate. And so I'm very thankful that you were willing to share that. So when we're looking at some of the benefits for eating fruits and vegetables, there are 4 benefits listed: important for nutrients and vitamins, water, fiber, and they're low in calories. I really want to focus on the water content of fruits and vegetables. Your body is made up of about 60% water. So yep, 60% water is what the human adult body is made of. And each portion of your body or each organ in your body has a differing amount of that water. So your brain and your heart are about 73% water, and your lungs are about 83% water. Your skin is about 64%. So why am I sharing this? I'm sharing this so that you know that any way we can get in water is absolutely important, and it's imperative. Because what does water do? Or as Tina would say, what does water have to do with it? So water is needed in order for your brain to make hormones. Those hormones that help your body run, those hormones that do what they're supposed to do in your body, water is needed for that. Water is needed to help regulate your body temperature. If you notice, when it's very hot outside, we get a little bit more thirsty. Well, you can get water content from fruits and vegetables. Believe it or not, I'm not sure if you knew that. Water helps us form saliva. It helps keep things moist. It helps us to digest well, and it helps us to release or pass what we've consumed, what we've eaten. So if we're eating more fruits and vegetables that are full of water and full of fiber, the things that we have taken in will come out more readily. Is that fair to say? Is that clear? Does everybody understand that?
Yes.
Does it make sense to you?
Yes.
There's a question in the chat from Naomi, and it is, does it matter if you drink ice cold or room temperature water?
Okay, so that is very interesting question. Culturally, there are cultures that will only drink room temperature or warm water. You ever know when you go to like an Asian restaurant and you sit down, they give you warm water or warm tea? Asians will typically only drink warm water and room temperature water. As a personal preference, I don't drink cold water. I don't like cold water, even in the summertime. Cold water for me, it just doesn't do it for me. Room temperature water, I feel like, at least in my mind, that it kind of helps flush the fats. Now, is there any scientific evidence about that? Probably not. It just works for me. So I drink room temperature water. I don't like how it feels. But the key to water consumption is that you drink it. That's the key. So if you really like ice cold water, I'm going to encourage you to drink ice cold water. If you like room temperature water like me, I'm going to encourage you to drink room temperature water. And if you're Asian or come from a culture that drinks hot water because it helps you flush fat, I think that that's some of the ideology behind it, then I'm going to encourage you to drink hot water. The key is water. Consume water.
I have a question. How much should you drink?
I'm so glad you asked me that question. So because I shared that water is so much of your body, I endeavor every single day to drink half of my body weight in ounces in water. The minimum that you've learned from forever is 8 glasses, which constitutes 64 ounces of water. So I am 220 pounds now, right? And that's still a big girl, but I'm really proud that it's not 308 pounds, which is why I share that. So every day I endeavor to drink 110 ounces of water every day. So if you, to put that in layman's term, the Poland Spring bottles of water are like 16 ounces of water. So 6 of those around, they're about, me doing math really quickly, about 6 of those, 5 to 6 is what I need to drink, what I endeavor to drink. But if you were just starting out drinking water because you don't really like water, it's not, really your thing, then I want to encourage you to drink at least 4 of those 16 ounces. And you can add in a slice of fruit, right? Some people put lemon in their water. Some people, if you don't like water, you can get a little trick that I like to use is I will get some strawberries and some blueberries or blackberries when they're in season, and I'll put them in like a bowl and I'll mash them up, right? And or a pitcher, and I'll press them a little bit in order to let some of the natural fruits flavor come out. And then I'll pour water and I'll leave it and let it sit overnight in the fridge. And so that gives the water a little bit of an additional flavor. And for when you're really not a water drinker. Does that help?
Absolutely. Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, next slide. So we talked a little bit about what is on our plates. On your screen, you see a plate that has replaced the food pyramid. If you're in your 40s to 50s or somewhere thereabout, you remember that we had to eat the pyramid. We learned about that in school, that we had to have the pyramid. Well, that in 2011 by former First Lady Michelle Obama was replaced with My Plate. So this My Plate came from the work that Michelle Obama did with the then Secretary of Health. And My Plate, if you look on your screen, it's divided in fruits, vegetables, grains, and proteins, right? And if you notice, fruits and vegetables, which is our topic today, represents half of that plate with a little small dairy up at the top on the side, right? So half of it is fruits and vegetables, and then a quarter of it is grains, and then a quarter of it is protein. So vegetables and fruit make up the largest percentage of this plate. And so that's what you want to try to think about when you're doing your plate, right? So we normally would do, so if you have I believe that there was a salmon, rice, and broccoli. So if you think of your plate, if you have about 40 to 50% broccoli, about 20% of that grain and of the rice, and then 20% of the salmon, that is going to help you refigure and reconfigure your plate. What I like about the My Plate is that it doesn't subscribe to any particular method of eating. So it doesn't mean that, so me as a plant-based eater, I can follow the My Plate. If you eat meat, you can follow the My Plate. If you're a vegetarian, you can follow the My Plate. Why? Because protein is found in things other than meat. Protein is found in beans and in nuts and in legumes, right? So for me, my plate would be, of course, I'm not putting strawberries on my plate, right? But it might be a half a cup of strawberries as a treat after I have my bok choy, my brown rice, and my sauteed mushrooms, right? That's what my plate would look like. Your plate might be a cup or half a cup of blackberries, some sauteed spinach, a little bit of quinoa or brown rice, and a piece of salmon. Does that make sense? I hope silence is yes. So
there's a really interesting comment in the chat, and I think it's in alignment with what you're talking about. It's from the Sosa family. She said that since March 14th, they've been doing intermittent fasting during an 8-hour window, and they drink 96 hours of water a day and replace 2 meals with a meal replacement shakes and eat dinner at 7:30, but struggle at times to prepare a healthy meal in advance or a proportion well-balanced meal at times. She says she's lost 12 pounds and she started with herself first, and she's hoping to influence her husband and children.
So Sosa family, you are definitely in my wheelhouse. I intermittent fast every day. I do the 16-8 version of intermittent fasting, which means that I eat for an 8-hour window from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. I eat, and I don't eat after 6 p.m. until 10 a.m. the next day. I drink the fluids. How do you, it's so good that you're starting with yourself, because we learn, our families learn based on us. And so how do you plan a nutritious meal? It's just that, planning. It's important that we write it down. Oftentimes, if we go into the supermarket without a plan or without a direction, we'll end up buying the craziest of the crazy things and then wonder, wait, what did I do? The other thing that can help you with formulating nutritional meals for your family is, I want you to get in your mind the supermarket. Shop the outside of the supermarket. So what do I mean? When you go into your local supermarket, go to your left. Stay on the outside. Most supermarkets will have your produce. It'll go to your bakery or your meat section. It'll go to your dairy or your milk section or your cold foods, and then it'll come back up. Inside of the aisles of supermarkets very largely have processed foods. The fresher foods or raw foods or more healthy foods are often located on the outside of the supermarket. And just as a outside aisles of a supermarket, and just as a trick, when you shop the outside aisles, you fill your basket more readily, your cart, you fill it more readily. So then when you elect to go in and through the aisles, you've kind of tricked your mind to say you're almost done. You don't really need all of the things that you think you need. Why? Because your basket is full. So I hope that that helps you in your planning, and make it fun. It's okay to have a spaghetti night. It's okay to have a taco night. Make a plan with your family and then shop those foods that you need for the week. I know that it might be a challenge at first, but you'll be surprised how engaged your family will become as you begin to make nutrition a priority for them. But great job on the intermittent fasting, great job on the water, and I hope my little tips and tricks helped you in terms of getting the foods together and planning your healthy meals.
Okay.
Yeah, you have another statement in the chat box. Hold on. Uh-oh, I went too far. Someone's asking about the calorie intake. Hold on. Bear with me, my computer froze.
You want me to cover it right quick?
It says, should we focus on the calorie intake? I've been eating less than 1,500 calories a day.
Thank you.
Plus, I keep a record in my calendar counting the calories.
So caloric intake matters. If you're trying to lose weight, right? You're trying to lose weight, caloric intake matters. Using methods like intermittent fasting takes away the burden of caloric intake, right? Because intermittent fasting allows you to eat well-balanced food in a particular window and then allows your body to rest in a particular window. But the way that you want to look at calories is calories are all about fuel. Calories fuel your body to work and to do and to move. So if you live a sedentary lifestyle, you get in your car in the morning, you drive, you go and you sit at your desk, you never take a walk, you rarely do any exercise, you rarely get your heart rate up. Well, if you're eating 2,000 calories a day, that's going to turn into fat in your body. It's going to turn into weight in your body. So if that's your lifestyle, then you will want to eat less calories. Now, if you are getting up in the morning and you're working out, you're going for a walk, you're getting your heart rate up, you know, and then you have a job where you're on your feet most of the day, and then you come home and you play basketball with the kids, and, you know, then you make dinner and, you know, all of that, well, then you eat 2,000 calories, it's not going to translate into caloric, it's not going to turn into fat or, you know, weight for you. So it depends really on your lifestyle and what you're doing, what your activity levels are. You always want to be burning more than you're taking in if weight is your focus. Now, the other piece, starvation is not a good thing. Taking yourself down to, I've seen some diets that are, and this isn't about diets, but because the question is there and I'm a clinician, I need to address it. I've seen people do these like 500 calorie diets, and the lesson that you teach your body is I'm starving. And so your body will hold on and store fats because it thinks that you are starving, and it sends you into survival mode. So it's important that you eat well-balanced, healthy meals and that you are moving more than you're consuming. Are there any other questions in the chat?
I do have one more. How do you feel about like adding this to water? Like this and Crystal Light? Can you see me?
Nope. Let me see. Hold on. Let me see.
Okay, all right.
Wait.
I was trying to show you.
Wait, hold on. Tell me your name. Let me find
Karen.
you. Karen, do it again. Show me again. Now I see you.
Like we add this to water so it could taste a little better. And like we used to use Crystal Light, but we just use that now.
And what is that? Because I can't see the name. You know how you got to put.
Oh, it's like different flavors, and you could put a little bit in to add taste to water, and it's 0 calories, no sugar.
Okay, can you pronounce everything on the back of that in the ingredients?
Well, first I have to try to see it. Testing my site right now.
You don't have to read it now. It's not a test, but it's important. What I want you, if you can't say it, don't eat it.
Okay, all right.
Don't eat it. That's just plain and simple. I'm all for flavoring water, but I think you said did you say you had a son, Karen, earlier?
Oh, my grandson is in the program.
Your grandson. So get your grandson into muddling some berries. Get your grandson and putting that in the water, right?
Okay.
Because that's going to give the water a natural sweetness, a natural flavor, and then the taste buds will be more inclined to that. If I can't pronounce it, and I have a whole doctorate, but when I start getting
the whole entire,
right, you know, the whole glutamates and the utamates and the ratamates, I don't know what that is. So I don't know what it's doing in my body.
Okay. Okay. Jaden wants me to ask you a question. Michelle Obama has a new cartoon, and he wants to know if you think it's good to watch that new cartoon about healthy eating.
So I always think it's important to watch healthy eating. If you start eating healthy now, you will not have to worry about it when you get my old age. And Michelle Obama is definitely one of my heroes in terms of her moving and her dancing. And she's a little bit older than me. And if I can still move and dance when I get to her age, I'm doing good. So go ahead and watch the cartoon, Jaden.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. All right, next slide. So on this slide, and I hope you guys will get this slide, there are just some tips. There are 10 tips that can help you make the best choices for your food. You want to find a healthy eating style that works for your family. I said early on, I'm a plant-based eater, and just for the sake of the people, I still wear leather shoes. So in the leather community, in the vegan community, if I wear leather shoes, I'm not a vegan. So that's why I say plant-based eater. That's how I consume food. And I still eat honey because I believe that honey has many natural antimicrobial health benefits, right? So with that being said, I call myself a plant-based eater, but you should find the healthy eating style that's good for you, that's inclusive of making your plate half of fruits and vegetables, which is tip 3. Tip 2, Tip 3 says focus on whole fruits. If you can grab a whole fruit, one of the things that I do when I go shopping, like today I'll go to Whole Foods, I will go and I'll wash all of my fruit straight away. I'll wash all of and I'm, a little crazy, because, I'm a little crazy when it comes to washing fruit. So I put a little bit of salt in the water, a little bit of vinegar in the water to soak my berries and stuff. And I watch all of the stuff float up top, and then I rinse them. And then I put a paper towel in a Ziploc bag to control the moisture, and I put it in the fridge. Why do I do that? I do that because when I need a snack, I need it now. I don't need to wait and wash it. I don't want to have to wash the apple. I don't want to have to wash the banana. I don't want to have to do that, right? I want to have it ready. So I take the time on the front end so that when I'm ready to eat, I get to eat. You want to vary your veggies. I told you about going and trying something new. I challenge each of you to try something new. A lot of our cooking techniques work with various vegetables. I want to challenge you to make half your grains whole grains. So try that quinoa, try that, that millet, try those things that you may not have heard about before, but try it and cook it like you would rice. Very often it's very easy to cook and fluff, put some vegetable with it, and it's a very nice and unique experience. Move to low fat or fat-free milk or yogurt. Now, me as a plant-based eater, I don't eat those things. I actually consume almond and cashew yogurts and milk and that kind of stuff. Vary your protein routine. Switch it up. Keep it interesting. Make eating fun. Drink and eat beverages with less sodium and saturated fat. So make sure Jaden keeps looking at the labels. Part of the issues and the challenges we face is that things are sodium laden and sodium ridden. And so we want to be sure that we are watching that. Drink water instead of sugary drinks. I used to drink a Pepsi. I used to have a Pepsi listen, if I used to get angry, my staff would bring me Pepsi. That's just how it worked. But now I can tell you, I honestly haven't had a Pepsi in years, right? Because I've replaced it. And lastly, everything you eat and drink matters. Nothing tastes as good as being healthy feels. So next slide. So when you're looking at servings and portions, those are different, right? We talked about serving size and we talked about portions. Next slide. I'm going to describe what those look like. So portion is the amount of food that you choose to eat. So portion is a choice. Serving is measured, right? And so oftentimes we'll get a bag of something and we'll look on the back of the bag and the bag will say that it's only 100 calories. And we're like, yay, it's 100 calories. I can get this. Well, what you didn't see is the serving size was 14 chips. Now, I don't know about you, but I'm a Lay's girl. I like Lay's potato chips. I just do. And when I learned that about Lay's and that it was 6 chips or 10 chips, whatever the number on the bag, I don't know about you, but I have never sat down and portioned out some chips. Anybody portion out some chips before?
No.
You see? So, but when you look at it, that little Lay's bags, they say is 2.5 servings. So essentially, even though it might have said 100 calories, if I sit there and eat that bag of chips, it's really 250 calories. And so it's important to know the difference and to read those labels. So portion is the amount of food that I choose to eat, and it can be big or small, I choose. And serving is the measured amount of food or drink that is on that nutritional label. Next slide. So this slide is going to help you just to see using your hand as a guide, right? So I don't know if you can see my hand. I hope you can. So your fist is about the serving of 1 cup. So your fist, and I have relatively small hands for a big girl, it's about 1 cup of milk or raw vegetables, right? That's about 1 cup. If you take your thumb from end to end, your thumb is about 1 serving or 2 tablespoons of like peanut butter or salad dressing. So when you think about the amount of salad dressing you're having, you're no longer gonna have a little lettuce with your salad dressing. Now you'll have a little salad dressing with your lettuce because you recognize that this is about 2 tablespoons. When you think of your palm, a cupped palm is about half a cup of cooked fruit, vegetables, beans, or starches. So just this, the cupped palm is what that is. If you think about the tip of your thumb, so between the line on your thumb and the tip, that equals about 1 teaspoon of butter or margarine. And the center of your palm, from here, not including your fingers, to your wrist, that's about the serving size of 3 ounces of meat or fish or poultry. So if you are eating 3 ounces, so oftentimes when we do these types of demonstrations, you kind of think about, wow, wait, my salmon was the size of my hand, from the tip of my fingers to my wrist. So actually you've eaten about 6 ounces of salmon if that's the size of your salmon. Next slide. So over time, we have seen what's called portion distortion. And for those people who are a little bit more seasoned here, 20 years ago, you'd go to the movie theater and you'd get that little box of popcorn that was considered a large. Yeah, anybody remember that? And now your large looks like this big, huge tub. And even though we eat with our eyes and we buy that big old tub of popcorn, I have yet to see a human being finish it. But portion distortion has literally, have you noticed the sizes of bagels? Bagels used to be small and now they're huge, right? All of this has lent itself to what's called portion distortion. And this has changed the way we think about what's normal. It wasn't an accident. It was planned. But you have a choice. You have the ability to make a choice since you understand what portion is, right? Remember, portion was what you choose. So even if you go to the movies and you get that big tub of popcorn, instead of getting one for all 4 people in your family, now you can make the choice that one is for all the people in the family. When you buy that cookie, and I'm a cookie girl, oatmeal raisin all day, every day, instead of sitting down, I will portion that. I love something called their plantain chips. But it's a particular brand I like, either St. Mary's chips from the Caribbean. And I literally will buy the bag, it's like this. I'll take some out, I'll close the bag and put it back in my fridge, in my cabinet. Why? Because if I sit there and mindlessly eat the bag of chips, it'll be gone. But if I portion some out, because portion was my choice, I not only have more for later when I want to go back for it, but I also have controlled what I've eaten. I've made the choice to eat less of something that I really like. So I haven't deprived myself. I'm just managing what I'm consuming. Next slide. So I said to you earlier about what I do at snack time. I like snack time. I enjoy snacks. And so I wash and clean them up, next slide, ahead of time so that I can have snack time. So snacks are important. It's important that you have snacks. And this provides a list of healthy snacks that we should be encouraging our families to eat. That way they can have a positive interaction with food and that have positive effects on them, as opposed to a negative interaction with food that has negative effects on them. Next slide. So this slide is interesting because I'm guilty of it. I'm guilty of doing food rewards. If you sit down and let mommy do XYZ, I will give you. You can have ice cream. I'll give you those donuts. I'll give you that cookie. Any other parent on the call have that issue? Guilty?
Yeah. Yes, guilty.
Right. So it's important that we balance it, right? I'm not saying that you can't give your children a treat, but food rewards can lead to an increase in unhealthy food. And it can encourage, because we never say, if you do XYZ and clean your room, I'm going to give you an apple. That didn't never happen. I'm going to give you some grapes. That didn't happen. Or at least not in my house, it didn't happen. It was always, I'll give you some, ice cream, or I'll give you, a donut or a cookie or potato chips or Cheetos or whatever, right? So we want to try to focus on non-food rewards, right? It encourages them to have healthy eatings, and it can create an opportunity for not only physical health, but for interaction and communication. In the internet age we live in, where our children's faces are buried in a phone or buried in a tablet, we don't talk as much. We don't dialogue as much. Taking them along with you and increasing the conversation about what is good health and what are healthy choices helps to increase that. And it'll also help to increase their fitness level as we're walking around the store, making choices, walking outside, making choices. If you do XYZ, we'll get to go to the park for an extra half an hour where they can play on the monkey bars or something to that effect, right? I don't even know if kids play on the monkey bars anymore. That was a thing for us growing up, right? So it's important to, when we reward our children, to reward them with non-food rewards and not food rewards, so that their life tomorrow will be better than some of the choices we may have made in our past. And with that, that is the end of my presentation. I hope that you found it informative. I hope that you're walking away with some nuggets. I hope that you have heard some things that you will implement in your life, and that you have your homework from me, and that is increase your fruit and vegetable intake to 5, but start somewhere. Starting at 2 is okay. Being mindful of your plate, making half of your plate fruits and vegetables. And then lastly, going and choosing something different than what you've had in your past, or something new.
Akia, you have a couple of questions. One is, can you repeat what you use to wash your fruit?
So depending on the fruit, I'll use like regular kosher salt, like salt. I'll put a tablespoon of salt or 2 tablespoons of salt in the water, and I'll soak the strawberries or blackberries, and I'll agitate the water to kind of agitate it. If it's a waxy fruit, I like to use vinegar in the water. So a tablespoon, like apples, I'll wash it with the vinegar or water in the water.
Thank you.
And another question was, what type of milk should we use?
So if you are not plant-based, you can drink low fat or half fat, 1% or 2% milk if you drink dairy. If you are endeavoring not to be plant-based, or like many people of color, your family is lactose intolerant, I like cashew milk because it's creamier. I like oat milk, like it's made literally oat and water. I like oat milk because it's creamy, and I find that gives me that creamy feeling when I'm eating cereal. Like I like milk in cereal, so if I use oat milk, I like that better than the almond milk. So I like cashew and oat. But if you're gonna drink dairy, then you want walnut milk. Is healthy. I see that in the chat. You can drink walnut milk as well. I like that better than almond milk. So it's a matter of your preference and your health.
Okay, I also see, can meal plans be provided? Our next session is going to include a registered dietitian, and I'll be in contact with her, and I'll ask her to drop me some information ahead of time. That way I can give it to Mike, and he can send it out to you guys with prior to the next presentation, if that would be of help.
Any other questions, Yolanda?
None that I'm seeing right now.
Okay, let's give Dr. Blandon a great big round of applause. She did an extraordinary job talking about fruits and vegetables and how we need to eat healthy. And so let's give her a great big round of applause, everyone. Great job, Dr. Blandon. Great job.
Thank you.
Do you have any closing remarks you want to add before we move on and talk about the gift that we'll give away to the parents? Dr. Blandon, any closing remarks?
The only closing remark that I would have is, it's never too late to start over. As long as you have breath in your body, you can make the choice for health. So come on, let's make the choice for health.
That's right. Let's make the choice for health. Thank you so much for that vital information, because that's going to go a long way as we turn the corner, particularly after this coronavirus and everyone being in the house, sitting around eating and not drinking and eating as healthy as we ought to have. So thank you very much for that. Yolanda, you have any closing remarks before we close out?
Continue to share this information with your friends. Tell them it's not too late to join. You can go to the Omega website. Joe, you can get that website. I can't think of it right now, but yes,
Mike will put it in the chat.
Ask your friends, your neighbors, your church members, whoever, they're missing some good information here. So we want this to go out and share.
Absolutely. This is great information, and it'll go a long way for all of us. It's not just kids in grades 3 through 6, it's for parents too, because parents have to eat healthy in order to stay here and in order to take care of those kids in 3 to 6th grade. But thank you so much. Any other doctor or professionals on the line want to add anything before we close out? We want to give you that opportunity as well. No one? All right. Mike did put it in the registration information in the chat. Today, we're going to give all the great parents. How many parents do we have on, Mike?
I believe we have 7 families on.
Okay, great. 7 families. So 7 families will get gift certificates for their participation today and the great questions that the parents raised today, because, hey, we can all benefit from the question. No question is too small, and no, for any one of us. So those were great questions. So each of the parents will receive a gift certificate, and it'll be mailed out during the week, and you will receive it. So thank you for your participation. Any parents have any questions before we close out?
No, I don't have a question. I just have one comment. The part where Dr. Blandon talked about adding like the fruit to the water. I think I'm going to try that instead of using like the Crystal Light or one of those little sugary things to add to the water to give it flavor. I've tried the lemon, but I really don't like it. But I never thought about like a strawberry or blueberry. So I am going to try that. Actually, when we hang up, I have some in the fridge. So I'm going to go ahead and try that in the water.
Thank you, Mr. No, that's a great idea, because
I'm gonna try it too.
Thing.
Awesome.
Don't sleep on
I have a
cucumber.
comment. This is Sandy. Excellent job, Dr. Blandon. Very, very job well done. I drink a lot of water, and I put lemon and lime in my water, fresh lemon and lime. I slice it up and put it in there. Of course, I washed it. Like Akia, I'm a stickler with clean fruit and vegetables. So I clean my fruit very good, and I slice it up, and I have this 5-gallon pitcher that I purchased from Walmart that's full of sliced lemon and limes. I've been doing that for at least 2 years. I have infused other fruits in water, but primarily I just drink lemon and lime water. I'm not a vegan, but I've been gearing towards vegetarian for a while now. And my son, who eats nothing but according to the dietary laws of biblical, I'm real close to becoming vegan. I think I'm definitely not all plant-based, but I do eat chicken every once in a while, and I do eat fish. So I'm not vegan. I'm far from vegan, but I do a lot of plant-based, and I like the idea of the milk. I stopped drinking dairy. Oh, and I eliminate dairy from my diet. I don't do any dairy. So of course that's animal based, but I like the tips on the different choices of milk. I'm going to try the walnut milk versus the, I took some notes, the oat milk and the cashew milk. So thank you for those tips, Akia. So that's just what I wanted to share. The lemon water and the lime works wonders. It's used as a diuretic. You have your vitamin C's, a lot of good vitamins in there. So I would encourage one to try slicing up some lemons and limes.
And you can also put in some cucumbers or pineapple, with those strawberries in there. I tried that all the time. That's phenomenal. It's been 22 years since I've eaten meat. I don't even eat chocolate anymore, so it's doable, and it's just a personal choice. So those would be a lot of things. Sora, Basilis, Akia, it was a phenomenal presentation, and I thank you.
Thank you. One of my favorite waters is cucumber mint.
Yes,
So I buy
very good.
fresh mint
That
and I
mint.
slice fresh mint and I slice cucumbers and I let it sit overnight so it can infuse. And it's in the summer, it is such a refreshing water.
Yeah.
So you can try that too.
It is.
So Akia, you have one more question. They're speaking of the vitamin D. How do we get vitamin D?
So
Come
vitamin
down to
best, yeah, Arizona. That's the vitamin D, Arizona. So vitamin D, best place to get vitamin D is the sun. So being out in the sun, those of us who live in the New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania area, it's very difficult because we don't have sun except in the summertime, right? So, and us being melanated, right? The more melanin you have, it's a natural protection against the sun, right? And so I take a vitamin D supplement every week. That I take it once a week. I take that supplement and my vitamin D levels are normal. So you can get it in a supplement. You're welcome.
Thank you all. Thank you, Dr. Blandon. Thank everyone for participating today. Again, the parents that are on the line will receive a gift certificate. And we look forward to our next session. And Yolanda, our next session is on which date? April
24th.
April 24th is our next session. So again, invite friends and classmates of your students and kids, so we can all get a benefit from this wealth of knowledge that is being shared. Thank you very much. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, and we appreciate the time that you spent listening to this valuable information. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.